Okay, kids, I'm so glad you're back. Let's get ready to have a great time together. But before we get into today's lesson, let's pray. Dear God, thank you for always protecting our hearts and minds from all the attacks of the enemy. Help us remember all the things we have learned and do what you have asked us to do. We open our hearts and our minds to receive your word today. We're so grateful that we can come together to worship you. We love you. In Jesus' name, amen. All right, let's worship.
It's an open heaven you're releasing, and we will never be denied. 'Cause we're stirring up deep, deep wells. We're stirring up deep, deep waters. We're gonna dance in the river. Dance in the river. 'Cause we're stirring up deep, deep wells. We're stirring up deep, deep waters. We're gonna jump in the river. Jump in the river. Deep cries out to, deep cries out to, deep cries out to, deep cries out to. We cry out to, we cry out to you, Jesus. I've got a river of living water, a fountain that never will run dry. It's an open heaven you're releasing, and we will never be denied. 'Cause we're stirring up deep, deep wells. We're stirring up deep, deep waters. We're gonna dance in the river. Dance in the river. 'Cause we're stirring up deep, deep wells. We're stirring up deep, deep waters. We're gonna jump in the river. Jump in the everybody sing it out. Deep cries out to, deep cries out to, deep cries out to, deep cries out to. We cry out to, we cry out to you, Jesus. Deep cries out to, deep cries out to, deep cries out to, deep cries out to. We cry out to, we cry out to you, Jesus. We're falling into deeper waters, calling after you. We're walking into deeper waters, going after you. Everybody clap your hands. If he goes to the left, then we'll go to the left. And if he goes to the right, then we'll go to the right. We're gonna jump, 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 jump in the river. Jump, 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 jump. Everybody, if he goes to the left, then we'll go to the left. And if he goes to the right, then we'll go to the right. We're gonna dance, 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 dance in the river. Dance, 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 dance. Everybody, if he goes to the left, then we'll go to the left. And if he goes to the right, then we'll go to the right. We're gonna shout, 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 shout in the river. Shout, 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 shout. Yeah.
like superheroes? Maybe superhero comic books or movies? Does anyone have superhero pajamas? I thought so. What are some things superheroes do? Some superheroes have the power to be invisible. Others have super strength or super speed. One thing most superheroes have in common, though, is that they have one main job: to protect. Batman protects the people from Gotham City. Superman protects the people from Metropolis. The Avengers protect the world. Basically, superheroes protect people. That's what they do. Let's review. This month, we are talking about go. Where are we going? That's right. We're going out to the world to live for Jesus and share Jesus with other people. Last week, we talked about readying ourselves with the armor of God and how the armor of God protects us, just like superheroes protect us from harm. They stop villains from hurting people, but God does way more than that. Now, let's see what Carl and Cassie have to say about this.
Hi there, little chicken nuggets. It's me, Carl. Welcome to Grow TV.
Welcome to Grow TV. Introducing your host, Carl, and your co-host, Cassie. Where we learn, where we grow, and we talk about Jesus. Once again, welcome to Grow TV.
Welcome, kiddos. Hope you're having a wonderful day. I've recently gotten some letters from you little chicken nuggets. I'm going to take some time to answer some questions. It's mail time. Alrighty, letter number 1. Matt asks, hey Carl, how long can you hold your breath? Well, let's find out. Okay, well that didn't go as planned. And now my head hurts. Number 2. Samantha asks, hey Carl, if you could be any animal in the world, what animal would you want to be? Well, Samantha, I've always wanted to be a flamingo, or a gorilla, a wildebeest, a North African crane, a red sparrow, Mongolian honey badger, horseshoe crab. But obviously, if I had to choose one, it'd probably be a house cat. Meow. Last but not least, letter number 3. I have a feeling this is going to be a good one. Alex says, dear Carl, your face stinks.
Hey Carl, how you doing?
Not so good. I don't want to talk about it.
Carl, it's okay. You can tell me. What happened?
Well, I was sitting there opening up fan mail, and someone said something that really got me sad.
Oh, that's terrible. What did it say?
I don't know if I could talk about it.
Okay, can you act it out?
Okay.
Your face? Your face stinks?
Yes. Yes.
Oh, wow, that's really mean. I bet they were just kidding. Your face doesn't really stink. By the way, why are you wearing so many sweaters?
Because I'm protecting my heart.
Your heart?
Yes. That mean letter made my heart hurt, so I'm wearing all these vests for extra protection.
Carl, I'm not sure it works that way.
Sure it does. Try and hurt me.
I really don't want to do that.
Come on. I want you to.
No, I really...
Do it!
No.
Do it!
Fine.
Oh!
I'm sorry. But I do think you can learn from this.
How?
Well, in Philippians, it says God will guard our hearts and our minds.
Really?
Really, God loves you so much, Carl. He promises to protect our minds, and especially our hearts, even though they might hurt sometimes.
Wow, that's really good news.
It is, and God means it. So how do you feel now?
I mean, better. It still hurts. But I am starting to get sweaty, so.
I bet.
Say, how do you know about that verse?
God says to keep his words on our hearts. So to remember God's words, I must read them. So every day I try to read the Bible.
You do it every day?
I try. Sometimes I forget, but that's okay as long as I keep trying.
That's good to know.
Yep, and when we get to know God better through the Bible, the more we can trust He's going to protect our hearts and our minds.
So God will protect our hearts and mind? Whoa, that's our big idea. Today's big idea is this: God will protect our hearts and our mind. So let's all say it together on 3. 1, 2, 3. God will protect our hearts and our mind. Well, good job, guys. Good job, Cassie.
Thanks, Carl.
Oh,
Aw, poor Carl. That person said something that was not very nice. But I'm so glad that Cassie was able to share with him what it says in Philippians 4:7, which is our big idea for today. Let's go over it together. God protects my heart and my mind. So, how does God protect our hearts and minds? And what does that mean? Today, we're going to look at a story of a man named Paul. I'll tell you more about him in a second, but for now, let's see what it says to us in Philippians chapter 4, verse 4 through 9. Rejoice in the Lord always. I will say it again, rejoice. Let your gentleness be evident to all. The Lord is near. Do not be anxious about anything, but in every situation, by prayer and petition, with thanksgiving, present your requests to God. And the peace of God, which transcends all understanding, will guard your heart and your mind in Jesus Christ. Finally, brothers and sisters, whatever is true, whatever is noble, whatever is right, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is admirable, if anything is excellent or praiseworthy, think about such things. Whatever you have learned or received or heard from me or seen in me, put into practice, and the God of peace will be with you. Did you hear in verse 4 where Paul says, rejoice in the Lord always? He even says it a second time. Does anyone know what rejoice means? Rejoice means to feel or show joy. Here's a question for you. Where do you think Paul was when he wrote these letters? Some of you might think he was writing them from his house or from visiting a friend. But guess what? Paul was in jail. He was in jail for telling people about Jesus. And a lot of people weren't too happy about that back in those days. I don't know about you, but if that had happened to me, I don't think I would have felt like rejoicing. When life is hard, it can be very difficult to rejoice and be happy, like Paul tells us to. It can be hard to go, but it's possible. Paul says he learned to be content. Content means to be okay and at peace. He said he learned to be that way no matter what. So how did he do that? In Philippians chapter 4, verse 13, it says, it is through God. Maybe you've heard that verse before. I can do all things through him who gives me strength. Does that mean God will give us the ability to make that impossible shot for basketball or walk on the ceiling? No. What it means is whatever the situation, whether it's good or bad, if we stay close to Jesus, Jesus will help us. Jesus will bring joy no matter if things go our way or not. And Jesus will protect our hearts and our minds. Maybe right now you're going through a tough time with all the stuff that is going on in the world. Maybe you're having trouble with school or in your family. It's sad because tough times happen in all of our lives, just like they did with Paul. But just like Paul, since we have Jesus, we can still be joyful no matter what, because God protects our hearts and our minds. Let's pray. Dear God, we thank you for always protecting us better than a superhero could. Please remind us that we can be joyful no matter what, because you protect our hearts and our minds. In Jesus' name, amen. Before we say goodbye, let's go over our memory verse of the month, shall we? Matthew 5:16 says, "In the same way, let your light shine before others, that they may see your good deeds and glorify your Father in heaven." Let's say it again. In the same way, let your light shine before others, that they may see your good deeds and glorify your Father in heaven. And that was Matthew 5:16. I'm so glad you can join us this week and hope to see y'all next week. Until then, have an amazing Sunday. Enjoy the time with your family. We love you and miss you very much. See y'all next time.